Hello, welcome to Mowgli TV. Today we're going to talk about layouts in Resolume. Layouts are the way that the interface looks and the panels that you've got displayed or not. It's a very useful feature to optimize your workflow so that you can tailor different interface configurations for the kind of work that you're doing. Let's have a quick look at how it works. So this is the default layout, which is the one that is probably the most useful when you're first starting off because it displays most of the interface so that you actually get to know what is there and what you can actually do with the interface. Now, there's a lot of these features that you can hide depending on what use you want to give to Resolume, which will optimize the interface for your own personal use. So if we go to view over here and then you go to layout, you'll see you've got all the different presets. I've got some that come default with Resolume and some that I've created myself for different uses. Let's just go through some of the settings. The first thing you might want to hide if you don't use Resolume for any audio is the show audio controls because they clutter the interface. So we just click that off. You'll see that now we've only got the visual slider here. There's no more control for AV or audio, basically. If we go to the menu again, we can hide other things that are not that useful. Like, for example, the help. You might not want to have the help anymore. So you can see you've got other things here that are usually hidden when you first start off that might be useful to switch on or off, like show Ableton Link, which is an alternative to use a MIDI clock for your timings. Other things that you might not want to be used, but I'm not saying you should turn them off. I'm just suggesting that you do depending on use cases. Like usually I hide the crossfader. I don't really use it much, except for very specific projects. So I'm just going to hide that. Then you've got other things like your dashboard, and a useful one might be the frames per second and stats, as you can see if you're overloading your system, which can be very useful when troubleshooting. If things start to drop frames and things look a bit jerky, it might give you an idea of what is happening over there. FFT gain I find very useful to have visible, so I'm going to switch that on, and then you got it here in the corner, and that will show you the volumes of any sound input that is going in, and you've got your gain control over there, which otherwise is in your preferences, so not very accessible. That also enables you to MIDI map it, which is extremely useful. Then you've got all the property panels, which you can switch on or off depending on what you want to see. The ones that are hidden that you might want to show are column, your group. The show clip time can be useful in more of a performance setting, so I'll show you just what that looks like. It tells you the actual time, and it'll tell you the time of any clip that you've got selected, how much is remaining. So that can be very useful if you're playing to very specific cueing. So the interface is extremely customizable. As you've seen, you can show and hide things that are not there by default or change it slightly. But the best part is that you can actually drag and drop most of these panels in whatever order you want. So for example, if I get this clip, drag it over the clip time, now it's covering it up. So you can just have a single column maybe with all these panels here where you keep your composition monitor and preview monitor on the right hand side. You can also drag panels to a different monitor if you've got more than one monitor attached to your computer. To do that, what you do is you right click on the panel and then undock it, and then makes it independent, and you can move it around. You can undock all the panels, which will make your grid independent from everything else, and that will allow you to move the grid somewhere else. I normally use an Asus ZenBook Pro, which has got two screens, as you can see in the image, so that I have the whole grid to trigger my clips in my smaller screen, which is actually touch, which makes it extremely handy because I can see exactly what's on each one of the clips and trigger it. So I think that touch screens are a very good use case for this kind of functionality. Other things that you can do is arrange your monitors. We'll look into that in a bit more detail in a second. You can drag them around like you do any of the other interface. If I move that one there, it just overlays all the other panels I have there. But the main thing is if you right click on its bar, then you'll get close, undock, or duplicate. So if you want to have several of them, you can duplicate them and they'll stack on top of each other, and then you can spread them out as you see fit. Within your monitor tab, you'll have all these settings here, which basically define what the magnification will be. So if you want to see things in closer detail, if you're doing fine work, then that's the way to deal with that. Then you've also got your little cog there, which will actually select what you want to see in the preview monitor. So it allows you to have preview monitors for as many layers as you see fit. So I've got this basic composition, which has got some clips from my pack cassette, which is available on Gumroad, link in the description. And we've got the default layout. So let's just have a look at what the other layouts that come with Resolume are. I'm not entirely sure which ones are default and which ones I've actually created myself. But basically, if we go like, for example, many layers, you'll see that you just get a completely different interface where you've got your grid on one side, which allows you to have the full height of your monitor, 4 layers, and then you've got some other panels on the left-hand side. Many monitors top, for example, gives you exactly that, quite a few monitors on top. This kind of layout might be really useful if you want to keep some monitors permanently in view. Let's say you've got a live camera coming into your composition, for example, and you want to keep an eye on what's actually coming through the camera so that you can trigger it in and out of your composition. Then that will be very useful. To do that, you will just have to come here to a little cog and select whichever layer is got that camera on it. So you always get a thumbnail of what's happening and coming through the camera. As you can see, you've got other selections possible, like including whether it's your crossfader, bus A or bus B, any layer, preview, composition, or selected clips. Let's say, for example, that you don't actually need any monitors. You might just want to have the whole grid to trigger things with. So you could literally just close all these monitors. And you could have the whole grid taking the entirety of your interface. This could be really useful, again, if you got a touch screen so that you've got all your clips there at a glance and maximize your real estate of screen for triggering clips. So here's another example in which I've got 3 monitors. The middle one is the composition monitor, and they've got crossfader bus A and crossfader bus B on left and right respectively. So you can see how the composition monitor changes if I move my crossfader from side to side. So this gives you an idea of how you can make a layout that fits the way you're going to perform and enables you to use your MIDI controller in a way that mimics your interface. Another example of a very useful layout that you can have in this case is what I use to edit envelopes. So you've got your envelope being the full width of your screen, which allows you to be a lot more accurate when you're actually moving all these little keyframes around, and it allows you to do more intricate envelopes than if you just had the side panels. So once you've got a layer that you like and you find useful that you think you'll be reusing, you can always go to layout and save it. You've also got manage, so you can delete any presets that you don't longer need and you can rename them as you see fit. So that's it for now. I hope you found this tutorial useful. Please comment down below if you've got any ideas and suggestions of what you can use different layouts for. I pointed out a few different cases where you can optimize your interface to make your time and your workflow a lot more efficient. But there's plenty of other possibilities. As always, please like and subscribe, as it really does help my channel, and I hope to see you next time.